The 2017 Lions Karoo to Coast Mountain Bike Challenge is proudly brought to you by BUCO. The small town of Uniondale, with origins dating back to 1765, bursts at the seams for one weekend every year when it hosts close on 5,000 mountain bikers for the start of the annual BUCO Lions Karoo to Coast Mountain Bike Challenge, which is a significant fundraiser for the Lions Club.
The Lions Club is involved Knysna, George Plett, Uniondale, and we've done 3,000 cataract operations up to now. We've got 50 scheduled for December, 150 February, March. So we are very grateful to the riders for coming through. Without them, we're unable to do these operations for the communities around here. We're involved with the Guide Dog Association. We've already trained up 6 dogs there.
The cost of training one guide dog is 100,000 Rand, and a blind person only pays 5 Rand for their dog. So the funding that we get from them is quite substantial, and it helps us, especially for Cape Town. We train about 12 guide dogs a year. So to receive funding that pays for one whole dog is a huge step for us.
The pre-race package for those who chose to stay in Uniondale stretches to a big plate of pasta, essential fuel the night before embarking on the 95-kilometre ride to Knysna. The Karoo evening chill combated by convivial chat around the fires. For hundreds of riders, it was an early start as they came through from Knysna, George and further afield on the morning of the race. But they were in good humour and up for the challenge.
It's my first one. Looking forward to it. Hopefully we've trained enough. And the bike is ready. I don't know. Hopefully I'm ready.
Nee, wat 'n baie maklike reis. Probeer vir 4 ure. Baie lekker, maklik. Dankie.
Well, it's going to be cold at the start, but we'll see how it goes. Luckily it's not the first rodeo, so we're going to just do what we can and just start and just finish and just enjoy it.
Preparation for everything, hey?
We're just expecting a great weather out there, being good, just trying to do our best, putting up a good time this morning and just try to get in Knysna safely.
The race, which takes the field over the mighty Outeniqua mountain range, dates back to 1999 and again attracted a huge field of 4,700 riders who were set off in 7 colour-coded batches.
I've just heard it's a beautiful ride, and I'm looking forward to tackling Prince Albert's Pass. Yeah, this year it's going to be much more conservative. Don't have that great form. I had a bit of flu last week, so just hoping for a nice, lekker ride. It's always good to be here. It's always a great event, so yeah, just looking forward to the day.
The traditional shotgun start sent the A batch off at 7:30 a.m. The first few kilometres on the smooth tar afforded them a chance to check everything was rolling smoothly and loosen the legs. For the local residents, the BUCO Karoo to Coast is a red letter day. The old Vaarpad, or wagon road through Uniondale Poort, was the first challenge, and a group of 11 had managed to slip off the front early on. Among them, former winner Vickers Boshoff, another Eastern Cape strongman Jason Peach, former roadie Tyler Day, Charles McFall and young Stellenbosch talent Robert Hobson. With 1,550 metres of climbing and very little technical terrain, the race is well suited to light climbers. As they approached the first water point inside the first 10 kilometres, 3 riders were away. Hobson in the blue of Flandre, another youngster Matthew Kayser and Charles McFall charged down the descent at high speed. Behind them, the climb was exacting a toll on the field as they tried to stick to the wheels in front of them. There was little business for the enthusiastic crew at the first water point among the early riders, who were all still fresh after the first climb, including Kiobum's resident Koos Besson.
Yes, easy, quite easy. It's a nice warm-up after Dr. Eagle. So I'm waiting for 2 of my mates, and we're just going to have a nice cruise today.
And Koos's approach mirrored that of many of the riders. He had finished the 3-day BUCO Dr. Evil Classic the day before, so was in good shape. The dry, dusty conditions are a reflection of the severe drought that has affected the Western Cape this year. After traversing the beautiful Uniondale Poort, they were onto the flat farmlands of the Longkloof, approaching Avontuur. Robert Hobson and Matt Kayser, friends and rivals during their school days only a year ago, were looking strong on the front. Neither local but a Marty student, Nicola Hilumi, had taken control of the women's race. The Longkloof has been farmed since 1760 and is renowned for its export quality deciduous fruits like apples and pears. The spring blossoms evident in the giant orchards as the riders flowed past. Second place woman, Jeannie de Villiers. The learners from Avontuur Primary were out in force to cheer on riders in the colours of their school sponsors. The R62 crossing was negotiated by slipping under the road at a river crossing. This was the last chance friends, family and supporters had of seeing their riders before they tackled the mighty Prince Alfred's Pass. The region's recent heritage reflected in the name of one of the earliest farmers, Matthijs Zondag, who farmed here in 1765. Small groups were forming, Kayser and Hobson and Gerry Bierkes in the front, and Charles McFall leading the chasers behind them. Nikki Hilumi was enjoying a relatively stress-free ride at the head of the women's race at the moment. The level of riding at this year's Karoo to Coast was a quantum leap 18 years after the inaugural race, as evidenced by the speed at which this group was going up the climb towards the second water point at 19 kilometres. This time business was brisk as riders stopped to refuel ahead of the big climbs to come.
That's been an amazing route, beautiful views, and I'm a bit scared of the next part. But yeah, it's been an amazing route.
Nee, ek weet nie, jy kan toe kom ry. Ek weet dit is nou afdrand. 10 kilos. Dankie.
Yes, they did have a long, thrilling descent to enjoy as they plunged into the remote valleys of the Outeniqua Mountains. It's a truly spectacular journey. The tricky logistics are a small sacrifice to make for the privilege of riding a point-to-point race through some of the most awe-inspiring mountainscapes in the country. The sharp end of the field use every tactic in and out of the book to gain maximum benefit from the descent. Nikki Hilumi now had company as she went down the pass. The Kiobums River snakes through the kloofs and falls as it makes its way towards the Indian Ocean.
Feeling pretty good. I'm waiting for my mom actually. She's just about to come down the hill here. But we're having a lovely ride. This is the longest downhill I've ever done. It's a lovely race.
A family day on the bike. What a pleasure. The descent bottoms out at De Vlucht, where Karoo to Coast regulars were a little disappointed in the absence of a much-loved stop.
We're only concerned that Angie's been closed down from what we know. So we're a little bit grumpy that we can't get warm beer and what's it, bad warm food? Beer. Yeah, warm beer, crap food, I think she advertised. So we're waiting.
The route then takes the riders up the first of a number of long, winding climbs. The mountainsides bearing the scars of the recent fires. Prince Alfred's Pass was designed by Thomas Bain, and its 68 kilometres is the longest accessible mountain pass in the country. There's a total ascent of 850 metres and nearly 200 corners. It's a serious challenge, but one that is eminently rideable, even for relative newcomers to the sport of mountain biking. Granny gear was liberally employed. The King and Queen of the Mountain hotspot came at 38 kilometres. Charlie McFall led Robert Hobson and Matt Kaiser over the line. The chase group were 4 strong and around 90 seconds back. Nikki Chilumi was the Queen of the Mountains. For the remainder of the riders, the stop was more a chance to eat and drink than a matter of royalty and who ruled the mountains.
Well, those were hills that are now flat after I've ridden them because I've flattened that out for all the people behind us, all the big oaks. We did it.
This ride is good. The hill is just amazingly tough. So yeah.
Especially if you're from Bloemfontein, where there's no hills.
Yes, they came from all over the country to ride the BUCO Karoo to Coast, and why not? Some even packed a picnic and stopped to enjoy the scenery as they had their lunch.
Is it only halfway? I thought we were nearly done.
It's a magnificent pass.
It's beautiful.
Cycling on such a beautiful pass. And it hasn't been as steep as I had anticipated. But it's lunchtime now.
A tough place to cut your mountain bike race teeth is Prince Alfred's Pass.
Pretty intense, eh? Hopefully I'll survive. But it's been hard. It's been tough. My first ride. And probably not prepared well enough, but otherwise all good. Yeah. Awesome, thanks, man.
Meanwhile, up front, Matt Kaiser was now on his own and chasing race leader Robert Hobson, who'd put in an attack at around 45 kilometres on the ascent up to Waterpoint 4, where he took on supplies at high speed. The pass took 250 convicts 5 years to complete under Thomas Bain's skill guidance and came in under budget at £10,000. These riders were toiling hard as well in the bright sunshine.
How's the ride been going?
It's harder than tiring, but actually fantastic. Beautiful views.
Views?
Views, yeah.
Where the views?
You should have seen all the women coming past.
Nikki Chilumi's lead in the women's race was under serious threat as Jeannie de Villiers was storming through the pass. Soon she was on Nikki's wheel. Jeannie moved alongside her and eventually into the lead. It's about now, just on halfway, that the enormity of the route and the job done by the pass builders dawns on the riders. There were 8 well-stocked water points along the way, and the deeper into the race, the busier they became as tired riders took the chance to stock up.
Going well, we're halfway.
Almost there.
Last Uniondale water point. So I hope the Knysna people are as nice as the Uniondale people.
I've been towing my wife, so it was fun.
Everyone has a story. Recent rains had left their mark on the route. Families living along the pass encouraged the riders in time-honoured fashion. The distance and the climbs had separated the early groups. Now riders were strung out all the way along the pass. With the sharp end of the race taking around 4 hours for the entire 95 kilometres, the backhand riders were closing in on water point 6 near Diepvalle in the same time. The massage and medical crews were kept busy massaging tired and cramping muscles.
It was not bad at all. Just gear back, sit back and ride it all out.
Lekker, it's my first time. And the climbs are a little bit heavy. And a little bit cramps, but it's right.
The saviour. The helper.
All the downhill.
And it wasn't just food and massages on offer. Squirt lube for the drivetrain was liberally dispensed. Reaching Diepvalle Forest was a sign that most of the climbing was done with. Lush indigenous forest, which is managed by Sandparks, also provided a cool canopy of shade. This is truly a hidden gem in the heart of the garden route. The penultimate refreshment station at Komsepat came at just the right time.
Made Komsepat. It's all the first goal. Been achieved.
An impromptu massage. They still had a way to go, with the odd sneaky climb as well. Up front, 19-year-old Robert Hobson, who matriculated at Polrus last year, was all alone as he powered towards the finish. Jeannie de Villiers had opened up a sizable gap to Nikki Hilamy in the women's race. This is the deep end of the race, where those who've done the training smile and enjoy the forest riding. And those who haven't love the downhills. And grimly dig deep to reach the next water point, where they hope that the fresh fruit will work its magic.
I think my knees are starting to cramp up lots, but we'll make it, I'm sure. Us and the crew will get there.
Fussbait, it's all about fussbait. For the flying Flandria man Robert Hobson, it was time trial mode. And Jeannie de Villiers had the scent of victory in her nostrils. The beautiful but sometimes treacherous Gona Pass had to be negotiated with some caution. Robert nearly taking the shortcut to the bottom. The devastation of the Knysna fires was clear to see. Robert making sure he was in the clear. With a win in the recent Ride to Nowhere with Eric Kleinhans and now on his way to victory in the Karoo to Coast, Robert Hobson is clearly a young man with a bright future in marathon and stage racing.
We were all sort of groups on and off throughout the beginning, throughout the start, and then with 45 k's to go, I broke away up the climb by chance, and when I saw I had a gap, I just went for it. And I sort of, every time I checked back, my gap got bigger, and from there I just sort of went all the way.
Charles McFall was over 4 minutes back in second place. Back on the route, the forests alive with riders as they approached the last of the water points, manned by the good people of the Eden Lions Club. And they had plenty to keep the riders fueled for the charge down to Knysna.
It's really beautiful, but it's very heavy on the legs and on the bum.
It's brilliant. I'm now turning back as well because I think I dropped something back at Uniondale. So I'll see you guys there. Cheers, guys.
The BUCO Karoo to Coast is a wonderful celebration of South Africa's passion for marathon mountain biking and riders' can-do attitude. Everyone has a reason for taking on the challenge. The raw beauty of the region is breathtaking, and the Gona corners brake-burning. And Scott just happens to be the bike ridden by the world's best mountain biker, Nino Schurter.
Okay, we're here at the Scott activation, about 10 kilometers from the finish line, where we see riders, we stop them, we change their bikes, and then we change them from head to toe. We've got a head to toe concept at Scott Sports, so from helmet, shoes, glasses, socks, shirts and pants. And we're so lucky to have Robin de Groot helping us out. But it's amazing activation, amazing to see the riders and everybody coming past, and a great vibe, amazing for us, yeah.
I'm feeling great. I'm about to start the big climb, and Scott's given me a much nicer bike to ride on. Full kit, sunnies, helmet, shoes. Thank you, Scott. I love you guys.
The final climb up the other side of the Gona Pass is testing, but everyone appeared determined to conquer it, even if it meant getting a little assistance along the way. The special bridge built under the N2 took them onto the lagoon side of the road. The finish was a few k's away. Women's leader Jeannie de Villiers clambering up the stairs. Jeannie put her head down and set about putting the finishing touches to an outstanding ride as she pedalled for the finish. 3 hours and 59 minutes was her time.
The start is always difficult for me. I feel a bit old, but I try to keep my pace and work hard on the hills and concentrate on the downhills. And it turns out really well eventually.
We're one of the types of sponsorships, and very proud to be to be part of something so big. And again, trying to build the brand in the Karoo to Coast. And if our customers are involved in a lot of the mountain biking, that's where we want to take it, because we believe that it's all about building partnerships and being with the customers overall. It's all about partnerships.
Tough but good, man.
Was it tough?
Yeah, it was tough, but it's a good ride.
3 days of Dr. Evil, 4th day today. Absolutely fantastic mountain biking in Knysna. Lovely that they've recovered after the forest. Brilliant stuff, Knysna. Do it again.
Yes, they really do lay on a fantastic event in Knysna, making full use of the spectacular landscape of the garden route and the wonderful support of loyal sponsors.
It's about health, and it's about the outdoors, and about a day like this. It's all about, we're the biggest exporter of apples and pears in South Africa, and it's all about being healthy. And this is a fantastic day, and we support the people of Knysna, we support the people of the Long Cliff, and it's from a true Cape perspective, it's great to be involved.
The top three in the men's and women's races. Robert Hobson averaging just over 30 k's an hour over the 95 kilometres. Good to see two 19-year-olds in the top three, with Matt Kaiser taking third. In the end, Jeannie de Villiers finished 7 minutes and 23 seconds ahead of Nikki Hilamy, Bettina Brenzel in third. We look forward to 2018, the 20th edition of the Lions Karoo to Coast. The 2017 Lions Karoo to Coast Mountain Bike Challenge was proudly brought to you by BUCO.